honored members of the Marshall family, elders, fellow chiefs, distinguished guests, welcome. Welcome to this historic occasion, the 25-year anniversary and review of key recommendations within the Royal Commission report on the Donald Marshall Enquiry. I am here on behalf of the Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs. The Assembly exists as an institution of governance for the Mi'kmaq of Nova Scotia. Through the Assembly, there exists a number of portfolios, and as Dan mentioned earlier, I am the one responsible for the Justice portfolio. I want to begin by thanking the many persons who have helped to organize this event, and I know it wasn't an easy task, so thank you. You have gathered many leading-edge professionals who are intimately involved within the administration of justice from both a Mi'kmaq and government perspective. Thank you, Jane McMillan, for your evaluation report. Thank you, Danny, for playing such a key role in helping to organize this event. You are leaders and mentors in your own regard. When I think of Danny, and it got me to reminisce at the table there, I can recall of a time when Danny, some 15 years ago, encouraged me to run for chief in my community of Buckingham. That's quite a while ago. At that time, I sort of crashed and burned in that endeavor. Feeling dejected, I moved outside of the province, and I just wanted to thank you for that, Danny.
You're welcome.
But seriously, thank you for being an example for many Mi'kmaq people. Through this gathering, we are attempting to develop formulas on a harmonized and integrated perspective on justice, a perspective of what can be. I have titled this speech, Remembering Mi'kmaq Justice Through Self-Empowerment. I use the word remembering because, in a way, I think it is already done, and that we are just reminding ourselves how we did it. For me, remembering is like coming home. I have fond memories of home, especially now since I recently moved back into the family house. Memories of home, memories from home. Back then, when I think of these memories, I think of a time, a special time, the rare occasion when an appliance was purchased for the house, and that would provide ample opportunity. A large cardboard box, the once container for the appliance, would afford an opportunity to what I affectionately call playing wake. This is when my older sisters and their friends would encourage me to play a lead role, one might say a silent role of sorts. And from the expanse of that cardboard box, an orchestra of sobs and whimpers could be heard from above. People often wonder why I am the way I am. But it is through laughter that we shine our light. And when we gather, share, and celebrate on occasions like this, we begin to connect, not through our minds, but through our hearts. For it is through the heart that we can begin to see other options and alternatives. Options and alternatives on what can be. For many, Mi'kmaq justice and self-empowerment have the same meaning. Through the empowerment of self, we empower families, communities, and eventually our nations. Donald Marshall Jr. is a catalyst for an ongoing evolutionary change within the criminal justice system. He is cast within the bedrock and woven in the fabric of our nation, the Mi'kmaq Nation. In the article titled "Getting at Racism, the Marshall Enquiry," Bruce Walsmith provides, quote, "Likewise, racism may be regarded as a disease that affects everyone. Diagnosis of our own infection is difficult because our own contamination with the very illness for which a cure is sought impairs our comprehension of the disorder. One symptom of a disorder was the conceptualization of the Indian problem, not in the sense of a people problem, but a problem people. I once thought that we, as Mi'kmaq, were a product of government's failed good intentions, that our demise was through our own wrongdoing, that we somehow deserved it. This belief fostered a sense of shame within me for being and feeling different. Community is more than just a place. It represents a special and unique spirit. The last time I spoke here, I was pretty well right in this place, and I listened and I watched an elder, Lawrence Wiles. I watched him say one word, and that word was energy. And it was not necessarily what he said, but how he said it. He said it like energy. And he had his hands just like that, and from there on, I started thinking about that word, energy. Elder Brooke Medicine Eagle once said, "Being Indian is an attitude, a state of mind, a way of being in harmony with all things and all beings. It is allowing the heart to be the distributor of energy on this planet, to allow feelings and sensitivities to determine where energy goes, bringing aliveness up from the earth and down from the sky, putting it in and giving it out from our heart. As Mi'kmaq, we are shifting into an energy that is lighter, less dense, and of a higher vibration. Beyond personality, beyond identity, we are energy. How we choose to animate and honor our energy, both personally and collectively, is what we call spirit. At the core of the Mi'kmaq Nation is spirit. The path to spirit is through the heart. It is beyond written or positive law, beyond constitutional laws speak of pith and substance, or what is considered Indian qua Indian. As Mi'kmaq, we are much more than the speak of your written laws. Mi'kmaq justice is about unity. And to understand it, it is first necessary to understand the role and purpose of community. Mi'kmaq justice reflects the collective spirit, the energy that we represent. It is beyond fear, conformity, and punishment, and shifts into love and compassion. It reflects a spirit where the individual seeks their own purpose amongst the general purpose of what community was looking forward to. This symposium represents a gathering where we seek to bridge the gap between our own concepts of justice through the lens of self-empowerment. From believing to knowing, from reaction to choice, from surviving to thriving, we are remembering Mi'kmaq justice through self-empowerment. Justice is often a reflection of community. It involves a transmutation on how we view ourselves and the world we live in. Because the spirit of community is one of our greatest assets, our conception of community within a larger justice dialogue will grow and it will spread. Chief David General of 6 Nations of the Grand River Territory once said, "I pray that the Creator give us what we call in our culture the good mind. The good mind will work us towards the one mind that we need to establish a network that will encircle the world, dealing with this one issue, child welfare, and how Indigenous peoples, by asserting their inherent rights that the Creator gave us, can put back in place their structures, mechanisms, and responsibilities. Kunorawa, meaning love or caring, we have to invest love back into our families, our communities, our nations. We have to get up every day and be hopeful. We cannot live in a painful past. Part of reconciliation means shedding that. We don't have to forget it, but we cannot let it blind us to where we need to go. The legacy of Donald Marshall Jr. speaks to a recognition that no matter what trials or tribulations that we face individually or collectively, that we as Mi'kmaq have the right to thrive through our own systems and institutions of governance. These are truly auspicious times that we live in. As we greet the dawn of a new age, we will seek no other recognition or validation of our vision of Mi'kmaq justice other than the ones that are coded within our hearts and created in our spirit. Walalio, thank you very much.